right, thanks a lot, Amber. Joining us now is Democratic candidate for governor, Mufi Hannemann. The former mayor of Honolulu stepped down on Tuesday from that position. And, sir, thanks for coming back onto our newscast.
Thanks
really
for
appreciate
having
it. All right, well, the first question I have to ask you is, now, how does your campaign change now that you are no longer the mayor of Honolulu and you can commit your 100% resources to this campaign?
Well, I think first of all, I've demonstrated that I stayed to the very end. By law, I had to step down on July 20th. We were very busy to the very end. And I made sure that all the decisions that needed to be made have been done. All the projects that we've committed to are either POW or on their way to being completed. So we left it in a very good place. And now I go and campaign full-time as governor. Yesterday was my first full day. I was on the Big Island for most of the day. And it's refreshing, it's invigorating, and it's nice to know that I've been able now to focus all my energies on being governor.
All right, let's talk about some of the issues that you're going to face as governor. And let's start with the homeless. This is an issue that some criticize you for, but the way the city dealt with it by moving the homeless out of parks and stuff like that, and you said it was a state's issue. Well, now you're running for the state's highest position. What ways are you going to handle the homeless problem?
Well, what I said in essence is this: we can do a great job of cleaning up the parks, and that's what we've done, enforce rules, put new laws in to enforce that fact that the park should be available to everyone. What I said was when it comes to the chronically homeless, when it comes to housing, when it comes to issues of that require securing federal grants, because the governor can do that, these are the things that the governor needs to do to step up on. And so what you're going to have is a remarkable situation of a governor who understands the homelessness issue, not willing to deny that it's actually occurring, and then come up with proactive solutions that make sure that the homeless are not just all ensconced on the Waianae coast. Any
concrete solutions that you're looking at right now that you'll be panning out in your campaign in the weeks to come?
For the homelessness?
Yeah, for the homeless problem.
For the homelessness, basically, I'm going to point out what I said before I left. There are areas in which we can work with the state on. There's some that want a tent city. We've said that we're willing from the city side to sit down with the state and other individuals or organizations that would like to see that come to pass. We have a solution for the homeless outside of Waianae in a community where there is monies for a model Housing First program. The state also put in money. I'm saying, look, if this community continues to oppose it, let's work together and find another area there. So, I've really put it in a good place now that the governor can sit down and not just Oahu, but work with all the neighbor island counties because it's all over the place.
So as governor, what exactly would you do to deal with the homeless problem? I mean, what's the first priority for you?
Well, to deal with the homeless problem, obviously, to move on some of those initiatives I've talked about. There needs to be more attention to the chronically homeless. There needs to be permanent housing solutions for the homeless. And these are things that we can use to basically work with the county. Yesterday we announced that we're going to have now a bus service in Kalailoa for the homeless. So all the things that the city can do is there. We just need the state now to refocus on this and not be in denial so much.
How about education? A lot of people are wondering what's your plan to better the education system here?
Well, you need a champion for education. I'm the only candidate running for governor, major candidate, has actually gone to public schools here in the state. So you need someone who's going to champion education, work together with the superintendent of education, do the downfield blocking, tackling, if you will, for that person, and at the same time be able to grow this economy. And let's get back to this, Dan. This is the #1 issue, is to grow the economy. If you don't grow the economy with an experienced leader, you're not going to have money for education. You're not going to have money for social services. You're not going to have money to maintain the level of services that people have come to expect. And this is where I bring to the table. I bring executive leadership, not a member of Congress where you're one of 435. You vote yes or no. You have a staff of 12 people. I've managed very well the 12th largest city in America, the largest county in the state of Hawaii, and that's what we need, and a collaborative leadership style where you work with the mayors of the counties. We've never had that. So you have someone who has worked with the 3 neighbor island mayors, now going to the governorship and basically saying 5 heads are better than 1.
Debates. What's your stance, your campaign's stance on debating your opponent? First of all, are you just going to vote to debate Neil Abercrombie head-to-head leading up to the primary and then move on to the general? How's that going to happen? How many debates do you see in the next couple of weeks leading up to the primary?
This is just the second day that I'm officially in, okay? So we get choke schedule.
Okay.
And an experienced campaigner like me who has run Oahu wide 3 times. I've run on the neighbor islands once before. There are lots of invitations. Everybody knows I love to debate.
Right.
Okay, so Neil is very confused with the facts. He tried to say yesterday the city's in a fiscal mess. It's not in a fiscal mess. He tried to pin the sewer problem on us. It's not. And then he even came on your show and said, I'm pushing for an education audit. That's Duke Iona, not yours truly. So he's very confused. I've never seen a campaign act so desperate so early in the game, and he continues, to be Neil. He first entered politics when I was a sophomore in high school. He leads by yelling, screaming, ranting, raving, and it hasn't changed.
Well, why don't we leave it at that, sir? But thank you very much for coming on our newscast, and we hope that you can come back on our show leading up to the primary and afterwards.
Absolutely. This is going to be a great campaign. There'll be debates. There'll be side-by-side forums like we did yesterday. There was a forum before the tech group. Neil was there. Duke Iona was there. And I think that's what people want to see, and we're up to the task. All
right. The former mayor of Honolulu and now candidate for governor, Mufi Hannemann. Once again, sir, thanks for joining us this morning. And we'll be right back with much more. You're watching KITV4, your island television news this morning. It is 6:41.